Hello everyone, welcome to Fari Makes. Today I'm going to make a spiced glazed cake. So first I'm starting with some butter and I'm just creaming that with sugar. So make sure you scrape down the sides and you're just going to keep beating it until it becomes nice, light, and fluffy. And it looks like this. Alright, I'm just scraping down my bowl one more time and then moving on with adding my egg and vanilla. So it's gonna look a little weird, but trust the process and just keep scraping on the sides. Make sure that egg and vanilla is incorporated in the butter and the sugar. And then I'm going to alternate by adding flour and baking powder and milk. So this is the first set. And then I'm going to add my milk. And I'm just going to keep alternating between the two until it starts to look kind of like this. And then you always end on flour. So this is the last bit of flour that I have here. And I'm just going to fold that in until the flour is just incorporated into the mix. The key here is you don't want to overmix it and activate any gluten in the flour. So we're just going to do nice light folds until we get to the point where we don't see flour anymore. And that is about it. So I have here a 9-inch bundt pan, and it has a cool little design on the top, well, the bottom in this sense. But when you flip it over, it gets this nice little swirl pattern, which makes it look pretty. So I'm just spooning in my batter. It's a little on the thick side here, but it's gonna come out good. I'm just gonna take my spatula and smooth it down so it has a level surface. Alright, and then just to avoid any burnt pieces, I'm just wiping down wherever there's batter that kind of like smeared along the sides and edges and such. Okay, so that's baked at 350 for about an hour, and this is how it looks when it's done. So it's cooled somewhat, so I was able to invert it, and now I'm just basically poking as many holes as possible without compromising the integrity of the cake with a toothpick here. So I'm just poking sides, top, around the base, because you want all of that syrup and glaze that I'm going to make soak in. Speaking of that, here's how I make my glaze. So this is butter. I use salted butter. This is some cane sugar and equal part brown sugar. So it's equal parts butter and cane sugar, brown sugar, and water. You bring that to a boil until the sugars have dissolved and the butter is melted. And then I add some vanilla extract and my spice mix here. So this is cinnamon, nutmeg, and cloves. So just sprinkle that in. That's about 1/4 teaspoon. Stir that in until it's nice and incorporated. There's no clumps of any spices. Alright, and our glaze / simple syrup soak is done. So I'm going to take my bundt pan again and then put the cake back in, because it's the perfect vessel to soak a cake in since that's where it came from. And I'm just going to pour my syrup all over the cake. And it may help if you want to double this soak recipe, because maybe it will need a little bit more. It depends on the cake and the type of day and how much moisture it really wants to absorb. So now I'm just going to let it sit and soak. Okay, so it's been about 30 minutes at this point, and it's pretty much sucked up all of that nice glaze. So I'm just going to invert it once more. And sometimes the top may not get as much syrup soak as we thought, so you can always just make a simple syrup and just pat that on there. But the next thing I'm going to do is just my little like sugar glaze drizzle. That just makes it look very nice and pretty and presentable. And I'm just adding powdered sugar, a little bit more vanilla extract, some of the spices, and then just bringing it to a good consistency by gradually adding in some heavy cream. You don't have to do heavy cream. You can add water if you don't want it to be dairy based. But I like the look and it gives it a nice texture. So I just got it to a nice runny consistency and I'm just pouring it on top. So this was a tester cake. I wanted to try out this recipe before making it for a customer. And I think it came out really well. So what I would do is I would put this drizzle in a piping bag and just kind of make nice swirls so it looks more presentable. But since this is a tester cake, I didn't want to do all of that. So I just wanted to make sure I had a good consistency on that glaze and everything looked beautiful. Okay, so this is the final product. I'm really excited to try this. It looks moist, it looks delicious, it's got a good cut to it, and it has nice volume and height, which I really like when you get a bundt cake. Okay, so I'm just going to cut a nice slice, and this is going to be a tester, and I'm going to let you know how it comes out. Alright everyone, thanks for watching.